One Athens City bridge can't handle the load anymore. The city is now ready to schedule repairs. Court Street closes to traffic for the big Halloween event each year, but organizers want to do something different this year. And in sports, a look at the quarterback's secret weapon that's helping the Bobcats. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm Caitlin Coolidge. Thanks for joining us. It may be small, but this bridge needs a lot of support. Athens City Council yesterday approved construction services for the Richland Avenue Bridge over Coates Run. The bridge simply can't handle its usual loads. City Council member Peter Costas says the load of the bridge is down to 65% to what it should be. Costas says that because the bridge was built back in the 1930s.
You know, we're over 80 some years old, I believe. You know, just quick math, 35 to 18. Yeah, you know, we're well over 80 years, I believe, on this bridge. So I think we've got our life out of it.
This construction process is set to start in May next year. The ramp to US 33 near Bob Evans will be closed from 7 p.m. tomorrow until 8 a.m. Wednesday, October 17th. The closure is due to work related to ODOT's US 33 bridge overlay project. Any questions can be directed to the City of Athens Engineering and Public Works Department. Do you have any idea for an event on Court Street during Halloween weekend? The Athens Clean and Safe Halloween Committee would love to hear it. The committee is open for suggestions on ways to increase activity on the street during the day. During Halloween, the city closes off Court Street from parking, which limits business activity during the day. Committee member Brandon Thompson was at the city council meeting yesterday, and he said he opens any ideas that will help make Athens more fun for the entire block.
We want to use Court Street for something. I don't know what, but we're going to close this iconic strip of street. We want to use that for something, and I don't have the idea, but I know somebody in the public has it. So just email us and say, hey, I'd love to throw a fundraiser, and then we can run it through council. And if you guys are okay with that, we could do something like that.
If you have any ideas, you can log on to AthensHalloween.com to fill out a contract form with your suggestion. A Habitat for Humanity Southeast Ohio is building a new office, woodshop, and education training center. The new campus will allow Habitat to add new programs. It will be located north of Chansey at the old Golden Wing CB Radio Club. Habitat is $100,000 away from its $2 million campaign goal. A jury has issued a verdict against Athens Medical Laboratory in a medical malpractice lawsuit after a boy was left paralyzed from a brain infection. The jury awarded $44 million to the boy and his parents. According to the Athens Messenger, the boy had an ear infection undiagnosed by a nurse practitioner. Athens Medical Laboratory failed to return stat medical test results to the practitioner. A 17-year-old boy is facing charges after a fatal car crash in Hocking County. Police say the driver hit the rear of Loft Barrett Jr.'s motorcycle on June 4th. Barnett died after being airlifted to the hospital. A driver also hit a flagger who was injured in the crash. If convicted, the driver could face up to 90 days of detention. Ohio State Highway Patrol is still investigating the crash. Thousands of DNA profiles are missing from Ohio and national crime databases. The Lancaster Eagle Gazette reports the legally required DNA profiles missing include those for people accused of rape and other violent crimes. DNA information is uploaded to Ohio's DNA system and shared with the FBI database. It can be searched against evidence in unsolved crimes. The exact number of missing profiles are unknown.
Good evening, I'm Taylor Nimmo. It was a cloudy day in Athens today. The rest of the evening, there will be a chance for some pop-up thunderstorms, and the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm watch that will be in effect until 10 p.m. tonight, so keep that in mind the rest of this evening. Right now, it is 76 degrees and mostly cloudy. Like I said, we have some chance for isolated storms, and it is also very humid, not very comfortable right now. Winds on the west-southwest 7 miles per hour. Around the region, we're seeing the same thing here. Temperatures in the mid-70s, 75 in Athens, 75 in New Lexington, 76 over in Columbus, and 76 in Ripley. As we look at the hour by hour for this evening, we'll see we have those chance of storms for the next couple of hours, but that's going to decrease overnight tonight. And we will see not too much change in the temperature, only dropping just a couple degrees overnight tonight at 5 a.m., 67 degrees with some fog early tomorrow morning. Now we'll have some more rain chances in your full forecast later on in the show.
All right, thank you, Taylor. Ohio's first legal marijuana. Ohio's first legal marijuana could be sold as early as December. One of Ohio's largest medical marijuana companies planted its first seeds July 31st. The state gave permission for the company to grow pot after a legislator gave its approval in June 2016. Ohio is now one of 30 states with some form of legalized marijuana. 9 women are facing trespassing charges after protesting Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. The women staged a sit-in at West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin's campaign office. The protesters wanted Manchin to commit to opposing Kavanaugh's confirmation to the court. Manchin says he will continue to listen to residents on the issue, but will base his decision on facts. West Virginia Supreme Court Justice Beth Walker will remain in office. The Senate voted to allow her to remain 32-1. Walker was accused of abuse of authority. The report states she failed to control office expenses, maintain policies, and use state vehicles and office computers at home. Walker also spent over $131,000 of taxpayer money to renovate her office. Before Walker joined the court, justices spent, in 6 years, over $40,000 of taxpayer money on lunches.
When this issue was raised, Beth Walker was the only member of the Supreme Court who took ownership for her mistakes. She wrote a check. She paid back every penny of the lunches that had been provided to her.
This is the first Senate impeachment trial in West Virginia in 140 years. 2 women who were arrested with adult film actress Stormy Daniels are suing police. The waitresses say the Columbus officers conspired to retaliate against Daniels for her sex allegations concerning Donald Trump. Both were arrested with Daniels for inappropriately touching a female undercover officer. Police dismissed the misdemeanor charges against the women. The lawsuit seeks a minimum of $50,000 of damages. Now, the Fifth Third Bank in Cincinnati is honoring the police officers and civilians who took heroic actions during the deadly shooting. Ashley Kirkland reports on the ceremony held yesterday.
Less than a month after the Fifth Third shooting that rocked our city and changed the lives of so many, the heroes of that morning received their due honor.
There were so many people involved that really helped save lives.
Dispatchers who helped get aid to victims, police who charged into the path of the shooter, and an unarmed security guard who helped get people in the line of fire out of harm's way.
And no matter how much training you have to have the courage to run into a dangerous situation.
There would have been much more loss of life if it weren't for so many people really stepping up.
Among the officers who received the Medal of Valor were people like Specialist Robert Boyce, who on his last day before retirement was a part of the team of officers who engaged the shooter, ultimately taking him down. Officer Al Staples, who also entered the building to take down the shooter. Officer Staples then helped to move Whitney Austin out of the building. She's the victim who had been shot 12 times.
The 911 callers and dispatchers, the unarmed security guards at Fifth Third who showed enormous courage.
We wanted to take this time just to recognize the bravery that was really displayed that day by so many.
Chief Isaac says the department is extremely proud of the actions their officers took during the shooting. Investigators are still looking into the gunman's motive. Coming up, First Lady Melania Trump is making her first international solo trip. What countries she will visit. And while she is abroad, the president is dealing with a new report that he dodged taxes. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
This fall is going fast, but don't get bored on us mid-season now. The playoff picture is starting to develop, and every game that we bring you will have playoff implications. Right now is one of the most exciting times of the fall, which means you can't afford to miss Friday nights with us. Live at 11:30, Gridiron Glory is here for you. And check out our Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages all throughout the week. They're chock full of coverage. So start your weekends with us. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell its story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
The New York Times is reporting President Trump earned him and his parents millions by dodging taxes. The investigation claims he set up a fake corporation with his siblings to disguise millions of dollars in gifts from their parents. President Trump also continued defunding his Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh today, and President Trump says the fervor surrounding claims about Kavanaugh's past sets a precedent unfair to young men.
It's a very scary time for young men in America when you can be guilty of something that you may not be guilty of. You could be somebody that was perfect your entire life, and somebody could accuse you of something. Doesn't necessarily have to be a woman, as everybody says, but somebody could accuse you of something, and you're automatically guilty.
Trump was asked moments later if he had a message for young women. He replied, quote, "Women are doing great." While her husband deals with the report in Washington, First Lady Melania Trump is making stops on her first international solo trip. She is in Ghana today and will visit Malawi, Kenya, and Egypt later in the week. The First Lady is expected to focus on healthcare and education. She will also promote her Be Best campaign while visiting children at local schools and hospitals. A new government watchdog report says the Trump administration's family separation policy had major problems. Natasha Chen explains why Homeland Security says the report is flawed.
In June, images of children separated from their parents at the border haunted both the public and elected officials. A new report from the Inspector General for the Department of Homeland Security says DHS was not ready to implement President Trump's zero-tolerance policy on immigration or deal with the dire consequences. The report says Customs and Border Patrol detained 861 children who'd been separated from their parents for longer than the legally allowed 72-hour period. DHS also struggled to identify, track, and reunify families due to limitations with its information technology systems. DHS provided inconsistent information to people who arrived with children, so some parents didn't understand they'd be separated from their kids or be unable to communicate with them once they'd been separated. In a memo, DHS defended the actions of Customs and Border Patrol and blamed another agency, Health and Human Services, for detention delays. A DHS spokesperson says it's difficult to enforce broken immigration laws. Quote, "This administration will no longer turn a blind eye to illegal immigration and will continue to refer illegal border crossers for prosecution. We are committed to enforcing the rule of law." The administration had reversed course on family separations by June 20th. As of last week, the government still has custody of 355 children separated from their parents. In Washington, I'm Natasha Chen.
A contractor running a temporary shelter in Tornillo, Texas, says the facility is still housing at least 1,600 children, but most of these children came across the border by themselves and were not separated from their parents. A mail delivered to the Pentagon is in quarantine. Officials say 2 pieces of mail initially tested positive for ricin. The highly toxic compound has been used in previous terror plots. The pieces of mail never entered the Pentagon building. It was delivered to the Pentagon's mail facility, which is in a separate building. The FBI is expected to do further testing on the mail. A teacher is the first to receive a robotic arm in one state. How it helps her with day-to-day tasks. That story still ahead.
With temperatures in the 80s this week, when can you expect to see some fall-like temperatures? We'll have your full weather forecast coming up next, but first, let's take a look at your stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
I love PBS because at the heart of everything PBS does is education.
I use PBS not only in my home, but also in my classroom.
It's kind of the idea of being the great equalizer for learning and for education.
I'm a lifelong learner, and PBS has always been part of that journey for me.
I love PBS because PBS supports teachers.
They know what works for kids and what's best for kids, and that's why I love PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Good evening, I'm Taylor Nimmo. It was a hot one today in Athens, 80 degrees, reaching the 80s with some chances of isolated storms. We have some high humidity right now with some winds out of the southwest, 7 miles per hour. Now, it's October by now. You're probably just wanting to get some pumpkin spice coffee and enjoy your hoodie weather, but the weather is not permitting for this. Around the region, we were seeing temperatures in the mid-80s today. Right now across the region, we're seeing temperatures in the mid-70s, 75 in Athens, 74 in Jackson, 74 up in Newark, and 76 over in Columbus. Now, when we look at the almanac for today, our high was 80 degrees and low of 65. Now, we're significantly above the average for today. High of 69, low of 47. Now, these are some of these fall-like temperatures that we're hoping for and we're all ready for, but we're just not yet getting. Our record temperatures for today, we're not too far off from the record high, 84 degrees in 1988, and our record low in 1986, 26 degrees. And now, as we look at our hour by hour for tonight, we do have some chances of thunderstorm, but these are going to decrease as we go throughout the night tonight, and we're not seeing too much of a change in our temperature, just dropping a few degrees overnight And at 5 a.m., we will be experiencing some fog as you head into the morning tomorrow. Now, as we look around the region, we can see this is our moisture that is bringing in these chances of thunderstorms tonight, and it's going to linger throughout the weekend. Unfortunately, this low pressure system in the northeast is going to be moving through, bringing humidity and some chances of pop-up showers for the next couple of days. As you can see tomorrow, we're going to be seeing this move out, and we're going to have some more high pressure, but we are going to be seeing some more moisture as we head into the weekend. However, as we look at tomorrow morning, it's going to be a cloudy and muggy start to your day, 67 degrees. It's not going to feel too comfortable. It's going to be pretty humid tomorrow morning. Wind's going to be pretty calm, 1 mile per hour. So you can just make sure that you bring your umbrella with you tomorrow because we do have some chances of pop-up showers. It's not going to be a washout or anything too crazy, but we could experience a couple of showers tomorrow. So you may want to keep that in mind as you go throughout your day. As you can see tomorrow morning, 67 degrees and cloudy, but as we go throughout the day, we'll see temperatures nearing the 80s around your way home from work tomorrow, 79 degrees. Now around lunchtime is when we could get those pop-up showers, and those chances are going to continue into the weekend. I know, looking at that, kind of annoying, seeing those chances of rain continuing throughout the weekend and temperatures in the 80s. That's going to continue for the remainder of the week, but at least early next week, we are going to be seeing some sunshine on Monday and Tuesday, despite this summer-like weather and not seeing those fall-like temperatures just yet.
All right, thanks, Taylor. Akron City Council is backing off of a proposed ordinance that would jail dog owners if their dogs bark too much. The ordinance proposed increasing penalties to a month in jail. Animal rescue organizations say they fear people will begin abandoning their dogs rather than face tougher penalties. Akron residents will have a chance to voice their opinions at a meeting next Monday.
Hey there, I'm Joe Hennessy, and the Bobcats are building momentum on the golf course. Zach Crawford leads the way. The Bobcats offense was record-breaking on Saturday. Find out who won the MAC East Player of the Week next on Newswatch. And here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
This fall is going fast, but don't get bored on us mid-season now. The playoff picture is starting to develop, and every game that we bring you will have playoff implications. Right now is one of the most exciting times of the fall, which means you can't afford to miss Friday nights with us. Live at 11:30, Gridiron Glory is here for you. And check out our Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages all throughout the week. They're chock full of coverage. So start your weekends with us. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back. I am Joe Hennessy, and the Ohio men's golf team fell short of first place at the Firestone Invitational that concluded today. Ohio golf finished tied for third with Eastern Michigan, but did have a leader amongst the group. Zach Crawford led the way the whole tournament, shooting a total of 206 and a 10 under through 3 rounds. Although they did not get the win as a team, Crawford shot a 4 under today and kept the Bobcats in the fight all the way to the last 3 holes. As a team, Ohio shot 7 over today. Definitely not what they wanted, but they get another chance next week at the Health Plan Mountaineer Invitational in West Virginia to bounce back. Ohio Bobcats quarterback Nathan Rourke, also known as Air Canada, played some good football this weekend against the University of Massachusetts Minutemen. WOUB reporter Russ Heltman has the scoop on just how dominant number 12 is for the green and white.
Air Canada indeed. It was an offensive explosion against the UMass Minutemen for Nathan Rourke and the Ohio Bobcats this past Saturday. The Ontario native was absolutely electric on the ground and through the air all afternoon, completing a career-high 23 passes for 270 yards and 3 aerial scores while rushing for a career-high 189 yards and 1 score with his legs. Put all that together, and it's one of the most prolific offensive performances in Ohio football history. No other Bobcat in the history of the program has amassed 459 yards of total offense in one game.
Obviously, when we got the offensive line that we have, and then we have these two running the way that we do, we can involve guys like Cam and Poppy and Andrew, and we can use our tight ends. And in the passing game, we're going to be really tough to stop.
Head coach Frank Solich knows how versatile the young Canadian can be. It was a big reason why the Bobcats set a single-game program record with 664 yards of offense against UMass.
And he can hurt you in so many ways. As you could tell in the first half, he did a great job on some runs that give us big and explosive plays and kept those drives going and enabled us to get points on the board to get back in the ball game after we got down 14-0.
Rourke was named an Athlete of the Week by the Mid-American Conference for his performance, and it couldn't have come at a better time as the Bobcats begin their quest for a MAC title this Saturday against Kent State. For WAB Sports, I'm Russ Heltman.
Hey, thanks, Russ. Rourke is leading his team on and off the field. Rourke has been recognized as the Male Scholar Athlete of the Week. He is majoring in physical activity and sport coaching. He has a 3.54 GPA. Joining him as the Female Scholar Athlete of the Week, midfielder on the soccer team, Sydney Leckie. Leckie scored the game-tying goal against Ball State in the 84th minute on Sunday. She is a child and family studies major with a 3.74 GPA. The soccer team looks to get back to 500 this Thursday against Akron at home. From the soccer field to the diamond, Major League Baseball players are here. The Colorado Rockies and the Chicago Cubs battle it out tonight in the National League wild card game to secure a divisional spot against the Milwaukee Brewers. Cubs look to all-star lefty John Lester, and the Rockies are putting Kyle Freeland on the mound. But both teams have the offense to make this game a shootout. Rockies will look to NL leader in home runs and National League MVP candidate third baseman Nolan Arenado on offense tonight. The Cubs also have an MVP caliber player in Javier Baez, so this game is going to be a good one. First pitch is set for 8:08 p.m. Alrighty, that's all for sports. I'm going to toss it back to Taylor.
Thank you. All right, let's take one more look at your day for tomorrow. Now, tomorrow morning, it'll be 67 degrees around 8 a.m., but remember, around lunchtime, we do have some chances for some pop-up showers, so keep that in mind and pack the umbrella tomorrow. This weekend, it's looking like we can expect some pop-up showers. Those chances are just lingering throughout the weekend, but you have something to look forward to on Monday and Tuesday. We're going to be seeing temperatures in the mid-80s, and we'll be seeing some sunshine, so it's finally getting some sunshine after the rain that we're going to be getting this weekend.
All right, thank you, Taylor. And that's all for our program this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Peyton Coolidge. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news